We'd like to welcome everyone to another episode of the Gangster Chronicles podcast. It's your boy Bigg Steele along with
Jill.
You know, Eiht, we get those guests every once in a while, man, that they got a lot of special shit going on. You feel what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure.
I remember us doing the top gangster rap albums of all time with the homie Soren Baker, man, and his name just kept popping up and everything, you know, among some pretty respectable people, man. You know, we got Brotha Lynch Hung in the building today.
What up, what up, what up?
That's
man,
official.
we appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate y'all having me, man. What's up, Eiht?
What's cracking, my nigga? What it do?
Chilling, man.
You already know, shit.
Can't wait to get back down there, man. I had to come down here to handle some business and work on the album. So I've been out here for a year, but I was living out there for 5 years.
Yeah, I seen some shit you just posted the other day. Said you was headed back to Southern Cali.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
just
man.
Tying up a couple loose ends.
Oh yeah, you gotta do that.
For sure. What year did you come down to LA, Lynch?
It was 2017.
2017. You was down here for a while.
Yeah. I was staying up in the valley.
Yeah, I remember that. I was working on I think I was working on a little project and shit when they told me you were staying down here. I was up at Frank Nitty's little spot and they told me you had moved down here. So yeah. I was like, oh, that's official.
Yeah, I'll be back, man.
You got to get away from the shit sometime, man. You know what I'm saying? Give your mind a rest. You feel me?
Yeah. Going through some little things, so.
Of course, exactly.
Yeah, so.
That's, you know what, man? That's a part of life.
I'll be back, man. I lived in this motherfucker my whole life, man. I got it. I loved the change when I moved out there, man, so.
Yeah, and you was in the valley. You know, Lynch, early on, you had a lot going on your records, man. You had a whole lot going on. Do you ever look back on some of the stuff that you wrote back then and trip out on it?
Yeah, man. I used to trip off how active I was. You know what I mean? And people coming in my life telling me to slow down. You know, that shit. I think about that a lot. You know what I mean? I recently talked to the homie that first told me in LA, nigga, you could be a rap star. You need to take that more serious and let us do all the other shit. You know what I mean? And shit, just recently, he been gone. He been gone for like 30 years, but recently he had talked to my baby mama and got the number, talked to him. I had to show him love, hella love, because he gave me that advice that changed my life. You know what I mean?
Oh, so you took heed to his advice then?
Yeah. We was in that Roosevelt hotel in Hollywood when he told me that shit. Ever since then, bro, I slowed down, started taking my music serious. I was on the line. I was on the fence, like, which way I wanted to go.
You know what, man? I noticed that. I talk to Eiht about that all the time, man. It seemed like when you in that life, man, and that banging, that it's like it almost can consume you if you're not careful. I don't see a whole bunch of real talented brothers, not just in rap. I'm talking about cats that could have played in the NFL, cats that could have played in the NBA. They could have did a number of different things. They just couldn't leave the neighborhood alone.
Real talk, man. Shit, I'm an only child too, so I was gravitating toward the homies. You know what I mean? So the homies had me before my mom even knew it. You know what I mean? So I was on that gate, like I fell off on the right side.
And let me ask you this, Lynch. When you came out with 24 Deep, that was your first album, right?
Yeah.
It was a lot, it wasn't as much of the rip gut stuff on there, but it was real active. But you had some, you had some commercial stuff on there, just some good old-fashioned gangster music, right?
Yeah, I used to do a whole bunch. Man, I used to be a hip-hop artist in the 80s, bro. My name used to be Ice Cold. So, a little bit of that was mixed into the 24 Deep as far as, like, the faster, groovier songs and shit. So I was getting out of that 80s hip hop type rap style and getting more into my banging shit because I was so active. You know what I mean? But shit, if you heard Ice Cold, it's a whole different rapper. That rapper was Run DMC-ish or LL Cool J-ish. You know what I mean? And not too many people heard that. I had a song that I remade called Outstanding from the Gap Band. You know what I mean? So it was about that stuff. And that stuff I used to put out on consignment. And that's how I became like a local, you know what I mean? I guess you can call celebrity.
Oh, so you became 80s. Like, how did you hook up with Cedric Singleton and all those guys?
This dude, Miko, he started paying for my studio time. And Miko had ran into Cedric Singleton. And at the time, me and X was good. And X had found him and took me over to his house. And dude said, I can get you a record in the stores. And I was amped up. I was like, let's go.
So it was just that simple back then. Wow, that's crazy. It sounds like your situation.
Well, you know, when you young and when you in the neighborhood and shit, and you know, you get that freak chance to, I guess, you know, get to the studio and you meet that one person that say they could put you on. A lot of us was naive to, you know, contracts and all that other shit, you know, which is the important shit today. You get me? Your publishing, your royalties and writing. Nigga, we was just, you know, especially being an active hood, nigga, you basically just like, oh, you can put a record in the store? Like, shit, let's go. You not really, and a nigga could get you to sign on the dotted line and you not really questioning the antics because first of all, when the homies bring you to a nigga, you already thinking, you know, shit gonna be on the fair and up and up. And that was something like the same shit, some of the same shit with us, you know. The homies brought us to Lonzo and Unknown, you know. We just some young naive niggas from the block. Them niggas knew, they knew though about, you know, producers and writers and publishing and all that shit. We was the type of nigga like, nigga, let me see my face on the album cover and it's in the swap meet or some shit. You thought you was a success. You're not asking nigga about, okay, well, how many points am I getting in? What's the royalty rating? You know, I'm writing all my own shit, so that means I get 50% of the publishing automatically. You wasn't asking them fucking questions. You was like, nigga, you go put my record in the store? Oh, nigga, you A100 with me.
That's real talk. That's exactly how my shit went too.
You know, I mean, shit, we young. We was niggas trying to learn how to serve dope and bang for the hood and catch an enemy slipping and shit like that. We wasn't no, and I'm not to say we wasn't educated because niggas knew shit. We went to school and learned the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. Now, furthering that, because we felt, what the fuck is George Washington and the slave shit gonna do with my hustling on the block? You get me?
Yeah, real talk. We knew our math. We was on our math.
I know how to take a 50 and double that motherfucker up and go up to a quarter and a half. And I know what 9 ounces cost and what I'm gonna get back and all that shit.
Exactly.
Well, what the fuck I need some motherfucking calculus and some motherfucking shit for, nigga? I know how to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You get me? So we wasn't intrigued by the knowledge of what a contract really, you know, instilled. You get me? We didn't know that shit was taking the niggas publishing and shit, and we wasn't thinking about, oh damn, you know this song you wrote, that's your money right there, nigga. This man. Nigga, you couldn't have asked me shit about no motherfucking publisher when I first started rapping. What the fuck is
either, bro.
Nigga, what? They publish like a book publisher. What they putting it out? Nigga didn't even have the motherfucking homie sense as far as they were, because they were knowledgeable, right? They knew how to get the records in the store, which means they knew a whole fucking lot.
Oh, they did.
They knew about the niggas publishing and all that. They did not fail to introduce that to us because they knew that was make a steal.
In Cedric's case, he had already put out a rapper named Homicide from out here. So he knew, you know, that's why lightweight believed him.
He knew how to get it.
Exactly.
So he put out, let me get this straight. He put out Homicide because Homicide was on priority as well, correct?
Yeah, for a minute. Yep.
I remember that because, like I said, I had a record store during that time. So without going too much into that part, Lynch, how did your deal look? Did you and him sign a contract initially where you signed to Black Market Records, or was it just like on a handshake?
Bro, it was a handshake, and then he put me right in the studio. You know what I mean? We did the paperwork after about a year or something.
Okay,
but I was
so
in the studio halfway done with 24 Deep off a handshake.
Okay, so by the time you get to doing and 24 Deep was received well. And did you see your life changing any?
Not by 24 Deep. It was after Season.
So it's after Season sickness. Now when did Priority Records come into the picture?
I never really paid attention to 24 Deep sales or anything like that. All I knew is that I had went to Seattle for my very first show, and it was hella people there. So I knew 24 Deep was doing cool. But then Season, I came right back home after that show because I was so amped up, jumped right in the studio and did Season. You know what I mean? Because like Seattle, them Crips over there just had me amped up. And when I got home, I was thinking about what had happened at that show and just went in and started doing Season and changed my little shit up. Like I didn't have none of the happier songs like I did on 24 Deep for Season because of the Crips in Seattle had a nigga all amped up. You know what I mean? So
you really just turned up and got worse then.
Yeah, when I put that record out, remember when Tower Records was open? When that release date came, I passed by Tower Records and there was a line like down the street. So later that night, after the store was about to close, I knew dude in there because I had put some tapes on consignment. So I went up in there and and I asked him, what was that line for? And he was like, bro, you know it was for your album. And then that's when I knew, you know, you
weren't doing in-stores or nothing like that?
Huh?
You weren't doing in-stores or anything like that? The stuff of that nature, that kind of promo?
Not for 24 Deep, not at all. But I started doing it for Season after that.
Okay, so for Season, go ahead, Eiht.
I didn't do any, I don't believe I did any promo for my first record. It's a Compton thing. Damn, I can't even recall. I think I probably didn't start doing promo till maybe my second record, Straight Checking Them, because I had Growing Up in the Hood on there. So that's why we started promoing because we had the #1 rap single in the country when Growing Up in the Hood came out. It went to #1 on Billboard rap charts. So that's why we started promo touring. But my first record,
everybody was slapping that Compton thing out here though, bro.
But we didn't. Nigga, we got one video with It's a Compton thing, and then that was because remember I said back sometime Orpheus was losing a deal with Capitol. Capitol had invested so much with Orpheus as far as rap was concerned, you know, because Capitol, you know, they had my nigga King T, and you know the King T record was banging. So, but everything that came through Orpheus was bullshit at the time. So basically, they were on their last legs when we came through. It's probably why we didn't get a promotional tour, because
they probably thought y'all was just gonna be in one of them other groups,
right? Because they had never. We were the first West Coast group that they fucked with. You know, Orpheus was based out of New York, so they had a lot of New York artists, but there wasn't no top tiers. You get me? Rap was fresh at that time. You get me? Around 89, 90. So, well, for our shit, you know. So, they didn't know what the fuck to do with us when we came along. So we didn't get on no promo tour. We didn't do none of that shit. And we put out a record and was at the crib or in the hood.
So yeah, that's the crazy part. So Lynch, because 24 Deep was a good album, and I know it did well. That got people familiar with you. But Season of the Sickness was a whole nother level. And just the stuff that you were saying on there, just the commentary, and then they had the thing to where the boy in Texas that did all that stuff to his roommate.
The CD to his chest.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. My Black Market threw me under the table with that shit though. That fool got me on that show, bro, and let old girl just go in on me. Didn't warn me about shit. You know what I mean? He just said, man, just go up on her, let him know, you know, it's your music and everything. He was in the audience, didn't even have my back. Nigga threw me under the bus with that shit.
Well, you know what it was, man? Him as an executive, because see, me being part talent, part executive, a dude to do a lot of executive stuff, what he was looking at was like, man, this is good advertising. Somebody don't kill somebody and this, you know, and they saying that the pastors
we had that talk. We had that talk.
You know, and it's because of this and everything, because I'm not gonna lie, when I first heard Season of the Sickness, first of all, the one thing about it, this is what I want to say first and foremost. Whether you talking about eating babies or doing whatever or getting high, you saying that shit in the level that's so creative, dog, to where it's like he's saying some mania ass shit, but that motherfucker can rap.
Bro, let me tell you where that baby shit came from, just to be clear. It's abortion, bro. I started, you know, my first baby mama, you know, I got an abortion with her. Started talking about, you know, and I just used it as a metaphor. You know what I mean? It blew up, bro, unexpectedly. You know what I mean? To where a nigga just kept putting it in his shit. You know what I mean? But it came from a simple abortion, though.
That's dope, because I'm a dude that studies lyrics, and I figured people take stuff so proverbial and so literal sometimes, right? I said, man, I think dude is talking about abortion or something like that. That was my first thought. You know, I didn't think he was really out there eating babies. You know,
yeah, man, I ain't never said that before either.
That's dope, dog. So we got something here first. We breaking news on here, Eiht.
That's what we do when it comes to the real street shit.
You know what I'm saying? We on here breaking news, man. And so, you know, you got to tell me your life started changing something, at least with the shows. I'm pretty sure you was getting booked every weekend when Season came out.
Oh, yeah. Season, I felt like I was in there. You know what I mean? That was like the best times of my life, like the from 92 to like 98, from going to like Jack the Rapper to battling rappers at Jack the Rapper. I remember this little, let me, I don't know why this shit's going on shit. Hold on. But a little story real quick. It was about 93. We went to Jack the Rapper. That's when I saw a gang of people. I met Patti LaBelle. She was cool. I saw Snoop and them niggas. Death Row came deep. I was hoping to see Eiht because he was my favorite rapper at the time. You know what I mean? So, but I didn't see you. But
no,
I know
we
you
didn't
was
do
there, though.
Yeah, I think I went to maybe one or two Jack the Rappers, but I was only there for like a day, and then we would cut out because most of the time I would come through because we would be on the road. And so the record company would bring me through for like a day or something, do an event, and then usually I was gone the next day. I didn't like doing the conventions anyway because I was anti-social nigga. I didn't like being around a gang of motherfuckers.
Oh, you was? Oh,
yeah.
you are.
I am now.
I'm still the same. Yeah, I don't like being around a gang of motherfuckers. I get in and get out. That was my type of shit. I still do that shit today. Whether I go on the road, shit, I be at work at the podcast. Motherfucker be, soon as the camera's cut off, I'll be like, all right, later. Niggas be sitting around chit-chatting and smoking, shooting the breeze. Still, no, nigga, I grab my bag and I'm out the door. I take one
That's why
picture.
I'm laughing.
And I tell a nigga, I'm out. I'll see y'all later. And it has nothing to do with You know, it has nothing to do with people in general, but shit, I'm more comfortable when I'm around my familiar shit. And a lot of times that's just my damn self being at home. You get me? Going out there, being on the motherfucking road, you know, especially when you come from the environments we come from. I kind of like, you know, shelter myself off and shit. I mean, when we just went to this big motherfucking podcast convention, everybody coming in and first thing they saying, you doing typical West Coast nigga shit. Nigga up in the corner against the wall, arms crossed, just looking at everybody. So I mean, that's just the way I came up. You know what I'm saying? Shit.
Hey, bro, you can ask Frank. I'm the same exact way. Ask Frank.
Man.
He'll tell you.
And that's what I figured, Lynch. And you know, that's why I was ever since I've been dealing with Eiht, that's the one thing I tell people. I say, don't take him being kind of an introvert as him being like he don't mess with you with nothing like that. He's just a very direct dude. He's not going to do a lot of conversating or deliberating. Once he gets to know you, I would say now I talk to Eiht a lot more. Our conversations, they ain't 20 seconds no more. They probably 2 or 3 minutes. But he'll talk to me now because we have a relationship now. We know each other. You feel what I mean?
Yeah,
and to be honest with you, Eiht is just a very well-rounded dude. And that leads me into my next question. When you was writing the lyrics, you already said that the baby stuff was a metaphor for abortion, right?
Yeah.
I hear a lot of things that you did lyrically back then, man. You was getting a lot of stuff off your chest.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm a recluse too. Like, you know, I'm a recluse. You know, I'm always by myself, bro. So it's like anything I put on my album, I don't, you know, whether it's about my mom being a crackhead or whatever, it's just my therapy. So I don't really care what I say. You know what I mean? I'm careful. I'm more careful these days because I guess that came with the age. But back then, shit, as long as I got to say it and people was feeling me, you know what I mean? I didn't really care.
Well, what you really did with Season of the Sickness for me really did was it exemplified hip hop and the young, angry angst of a black man in the urban community going through PTSD and all that. It seemed like you was just unloading.
Bruh, like, who else was I going to talk to? You know what I mean? Shit.
Exactly. So Season is jumping off. You on Priority Records, who at that time, Priority had probably one of the bombest gangster rap rosters of all time.
Yeah.
They was popping.
They was deep too.
They was popping out.
Priority was like our, I guess was like our rap a lot. You feel me?
Yeah.
Not to discredit, you know, Death Row or Ruthless or none of that, but outside of that, I guess that was like, you know, because Priority had all the nigga shit. You know, they had Cube, they had y'all shit, they had motherfucking P shit. You know what I'm saying? Mac 10 ran who banging through there, you know. So it definitely was the home of, let's say, the black independence.
Yeah. Yep. Damn sure was.
You didn't see too many. You get me, like the big labels and shit. But as far as Priority was concerned, they roster as far was full of just the homie shit. You get me? And if you was a black entrepreneur trying to get your label off, you got artists. They was probably a good place to go.
Yeah,
to this day, I'm fucking with Fred from Priority Records.
Okay.
He got his RBC. That's who dropped that season 2.
Oh wow.
So you know, I've been in Priority. I've been in touch with Priority all the years when Snoop, you know, was a little ahead of it for a minute, and all that.
You know what? You don't mention Snoop's names a couple of times. This is something I'm gonna say, and I don't want internet. So I'm telling y'all now, don't come with the BS because this is not no knock to him. I heard Snoop prior to when he got with Dre, right? Snoop always had the real laid back, syrupy flow. But I think he got him a dose of that Lynch back then because he started getting more aggressive. The way you spit your bars, you know, with the coming up, you know, you had a certain swing to your stuff. And I noticed a lot of people kind of took liberty with that back in the day.
Shit, I never heard about Snoop, but I heard it about a couple with some rappers that not even on that scale, you know.
Oh yeah, you know, you finna get hit up by 1,000 niggas still.
Oh, you know, and it's not me saying because Snoop is one of the greatest. You know what I mean? It's not me saying nothing, but that doesn't mean you can't be influenced by somebody.
Yeah,
And
true.
I used to think Snoop stole my little cap thing, my little cap thing. I always wore this cap.
Mm-hmm.
But you
That's
know,
crazy.
Snoop Dogg I had in my head though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Snoop, you know, shout out to Snoop Dogg.
Since junior high school, so he's always had his flow. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know, always people are gonna feel like we all get a little influences from somewhere. You'll get me, but I've been knowing Snoop since junior high school. He's always had that laid back flow. So it's all good. But we get our influences from places. You get me? Shit.
Yeah, and ain't nothing wrong with that.
I was influenced by motherfucking Rakim and shit. You know,
Right.
before I even heard a Easy E record. You know, I used to just listen to New York rap. So Rakim was a heavy influence. You know what I'm saying? Even when Easy and them first broke out. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought that was the dopest shit. You get me, niggas? We was gang
everybody thought that at the time, bro. I think that was the consensus. Lynch, who
We
was your biggest influence?
Rakim.
That's what I'm saying. Rakim Allah. You know, Rakim Allah is there. I think everybody's, you know, that was the first dude that came out because he made it to where when you heard everybody else's stuff, it kind of sounded like comparing Mozart to, you know, or you know, a great poet to Dr. Seuss almost. He made all this shit sound like Dr. Seuss.
Yeah. I liked LL too. The older LL, the old school LL.
Mm-hmm.
Rock the Bells LL.
Right.
I was heavy into him too. Kumo D. You know what I mean? Kumo D taught me about wordplay. I be doing the wordplay shit. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I got influence. But Rakim, when he came, he made my wordplay. Like he made me get up on the wordplay thing.
Rakim basically just put us in a different room of what was considered rap. You get me? He just took it from motherfucking, I guess, what you thought was just fun and, you know, people, whatever. He took it from the hip, the hop, the hippie shit, and he put it in a place to where niggas could idolize the shit. Because now you looking and you listening to a nigga who you feel represents you. You get me? You get like, you know, we had Grandmaster Flash and Curtis Blow and the Fat Boys and all that, but being West Coast niggas and gang banging, we just thought we just had a different identity. You feel me? And I guess when Rakim came out, you know, with the sweatsuits and shit and the big dookie gold chains, and you seen a gang of niggas hanging at the park, sitting on the benches and shit like that. It reminded me of the D boys in the hood. You get me? Of the niggas who was balling in the neighborhood. So that's because niggas was wearing funny outfits and different kind of shit before that. And so when he came along, he was like a regular nigga to us. You know what I'm saying? So that's why Rakim was so much influential on my rap career, because it wasn't the Fat Boys with funny shit, and then it wasn't Grandmaster Flash and them with, you know, with the psychedelic outfits and all that, you know, like the bands of the 70s and shit. That was more of that type of shit. So Rakim definitely.
Well, you know what? You can't forget with Grandmaster Flash and them. They did have a message. The message was hard.
The message. Yeah, that was hard as fuck. No doubt. But when you watching them and then you listening, different element. You get me? You know,
Yeah, for
when
sure.
you can just hear the message and you can put yourself in that type of situation. But when I turn on the TV and I see these niggas looking like they from outer space in the clothing, I'm like, what the fuck is that? That ain't
With the
us.
first
You
shoulder
get me?
pads on and stuff and the leather pants and stuff.
That
That's the real
definitely ain't
talk.
us
That
over
was,
here. Nigga, we khaki suit 38 straps and ready to bust on a nigga. So
yeah,
I get what
yeah,
you're saying the message, and nigga, broken glass everywhere, but nigga, we like, nigga, please.
yeah,
That is not our imagery. So that's what made it like, okay, I like these niggas, but then even when the message went off, you get me? Now you got white lines, and you was like, man, we on some different shit over here, homie.
Yeah,
So
Rakim definitely gave you the D-boy vibe, the rich homie vibe, you know, with the Benz and with the Dookie ropes on and the three-finger rings and stuff.
not in studio. We not in Studio 54 with them, nigga. You get me? Nigga, we on the block turning our shit into crack rock. You feel me? So
that's real talk.
that's our representation of the streets to us. Now the element of the story they were pushing on the message, you get me? That was what we took. You know, niggas tired, fed up. You know, you ain't teaching me shit in school and all that, but we wasn't on, you know, we was on the block with our shit. So it was more BDP or you know, KRS and Rakim and Scott LaRock with the dope game and how niggas serving on the block, and we got this. We're not up in the motherfucking Studio 54 with no 3-piece suit on. You know what I'm saying? Serving one of them motherfucking rich motherfucking white doctors or some shit, and everybody having fun on the floor. Nah, man, it was crazy. So our scenario to how the rappers introduced themselves is how we gravitated to the motherfuckers. Like I said, we bang more motherfucking Rakim, even though, like you said, Grandmaster Flash had the message for us, but we took that into a different element, man.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You know what? And one of the things, Lynch, because I'm going in this timeline kind of that leads up to Season of the Sickness 2, Kevlar, right? So needless to say, you blowing up now. You know, you got it going on. You doing a lot of shows and everything. What happened after that, bro? Did it start getting funny over there at Black Market?
I just seen him. He started buying cars and shit, and I was trying to be cool. You know what I mean? I was like, pay my rent, give me some money for the month. Let's try to blow this record up. You know what I mean? Then when I seen him start buying cars and Pathfinders and shit, that's when I had to go, you know, go up in the office and we had to have that talk. And then I just got a whole bunch of promises, and we're gonna get you this, and we're gonna get you this day, and it just went bad after that. After a couple months after that first talk, it just started going bad.
So is that why we started seeing kind of like the almost put together releases, you know, the stuff that was kind of like, it may be an unfinished song that you have and a random rapper on there, and you know, somebody like you said, you didn't even know these dudes.
Nah, he you know, came up on some of my music and start putting it out, stuff that I wasn't gonna use, you know what I mean, and put other dudes on it and threw it out there.
Did you guys ever go through any legal situations? Like, did you ever get any of that remedy? Like, when he put those projects out, he had to compensate you for them, right?
Well, we did have to go to court. We went to court after a couple things happened, you know, revenge type shit. You know how they play in the neighborhood and shit. Couple things happened. Then a friend of mine said, man, just do it the legal way. So I took him to court, gave me my first 30,000. I think I was like 25. Gave me my first 30,000. I thought I was rich. And then at the time, it was when I was signed with Priority, so Priority started helping me get my money. Instead of them sending the check to him, they would send me my part and then send him his. after the
And that's what
settlement.
usually happens when you have a successful artist going through a subsidiary. They
Yeah.
want to kind of keep the relationship going, but they don't want, last thing they want you to do, Lynch, is be like, fuck this, I ain't recording, I can't even pay my rent. Why am I
Shit,
gonna be?
I wanted to be straight with Priority. Like fuck Black Market, but said wasn't trying to let that happen. But they was trying to fight for it. You know what I mean?
That's usually how it happens too, because us as black executives sometimes, man, and I'm not gonna say all the time it's because they trying to necessarily be shiesty. Sometimes they just don't know no better, man.
But said is a dude who came from the East Coast, smart dude. I will say that. But he knew what he was gonna do when he came to the West Coast. He said, "I'm gonna give me some California rapper niggas, got me in X-rated, you know what I mean, and make some money off these niggas." Nigga made some millions off me.
And you know what? And because the thing is, you came out during the hate. You initially came out in the heyday of gangster rap, like you said. You know, you
Yeah,
had MC Eiht, you had all this dope stuff that was just really dropping. The climate was just real dope, right?
yeah.
And you were hella unique because I know they would call your style horrorcore. I listen to Gangster Nip too, but Gangster Nip do is horrorcore. What you do is some whole other shit. It's like some I think the term rip gut is appropriate.
Yeah. I mean, they put me in the horrorcore category, and I was like, fuck it. You know what I mean? I didn't really want to be known for horrorcore. I didn't really know much about it. You know what I mean? But
You know,
they,
they always go throw a label on something though, bro. So you
yeah.
doing this and you going through all that, man. What are you doing during this time? Is that how you? When did you link up with Strange?
Um, I had put an album out called Lynch by Inch on my own. It was the first album I put out myself, and I was just touring a lot. And I ran into a tech on one of his tours, and he said, "Man, Travis, the other owner of Strange Music, want to holler at you." And they brought me up in the office, and I turned him down actually the first time, and then a couple years later, I didn't know what I was doing. I had kind of got back active in the streets with a little money, helping the little homies and stuff, but I wasn't really doing no music. And Strange, came at me again, gave me some money, and I said, fuck it. And I signed and did a 3-album 360 deal with them. I shouldn't have did that, but I figured since I hadn't had an album in a while, I could do that. And so
It
that's how I ran
definitely.
into them.
You know, the one thing about messing with Strange, man, is they do a lot of touring and
Yeah.
they're going to introduce you to their fan base. It's like if you do anything with them, you go get a whole bunch of them juggalos, you get a whole bunch of different white folks. You go broaden your
Oh,
fan base,
bro.
you go broaden your horizons.
Hey, bro, my crowd went from black to white when I joined them. To
Just
this
that
day.
quick, huh?
Yeah, like it's funny because when I do my own tours, it's black. But when I do tours with them, it's always white.
That's
Always.
crazy.
I
That's
still
crazy.
tour with them every once in a
Is
while,
that
though.
because of where they're based at, and that's because the area they're based around, and they just cater to a lot of the different that audience?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I think it is with Strange, Jay? I think Tech has just built him a following because you got to think about it. Tech is kind of like Lynch in the sense that they both real unique. They both ones of one. You ain't gonna hear nobody that rap like them. They got their own kind of presence. So I think that attracts kind of like a different demographic almost. Because I know it's black people that listen to Tech, but it just happens to be a whole bunch of white folks. And I know over in Hawaii, he huge, man. They love him over there. They
Hey,
love him over there. And Lynch was at the beginning, early on in his career, he was messing with the Juggalos a whole lot. So I think some of that Juggalo fan base migrated over there too. But you know, shout out to them dudes because they doing their thing. But so you got this whole litigation going on with Black Market. When did you officially dissolve your relationship with the label?
shit to me when I left after season, but technically it was around 98. Because we went into court in the middle of 98. and settled later that year. So that's when I started Sick Made Music and put out some records through this distributor out of Tennessee.
So what was initially, what was their problem? They just didn't want to pay?
He didn't even try to pay. It was like he was trying to punk situation, trying to punk me. That's
so
what
he
I
put
felt.
out the he put out the records, and he no advances, no anything. He just like, nigga, we're gonna go to the studio, you're gonna record, I'm gonna go get the deal, and fuck it. Like, nigga,
Now,
I ain't giving
his
y'all
major excuses, he was having problems getting the money from the distributor. That was his excuse. Until I
and they had a deal with Priority. So there's the first lie right there, because you don't have to get anything from the distributor. Priority don't get their money. You get me?
Exactly.
You getting paid because Priority is getting that money from those one stops and the distributors who are motherfucking buying those records. So for him to turn
Priority is
around,
getting the check for sure.
Yeah, that was the first lie.
So for him to turn around and go, well, I'm having problems, there's your first lie, nigga, because your deal was with Priority, and Priority ain't got no problem cutting no motherfucking check.
Oh,
Now, you know what I could see? I could see if we talking about 24 Deep and he going through City Hall or whatever, and it is hell trying to collect the reserves from them cats sometimes, right? But once you get the Priority, what should have happened, I'm pretty sure Priority advanced him some money based on the sales that you had for 24 Deep.
I'm pretty sure they did.
Based on what you did for 24 Deep, that's how he got into the Priority building, right?
Yeah.
It's like, and I'm pretty sure they gave him a check, which should have happened as soon as he deal with Priority.
They gave him an advance
contract with an advance attached to it and everything else.
Especially if he had two artists. If he had two artists and both of them came out on black market Priority, they gave him money for both of them motherfucking acts. So shit, the nigga could have got a check for anywhere between 200,000 and 500 grand because he got two groups.
And that's in the 90s.
Nigga, they was giving up budgets back then in the 90s.
Yep.
They was giving up minimum. The minimum was 250 grand.
Oh yeah, you was gonna get paid because you know what we got when Glasses went over to Sony, dog? And that was in the 2000s. That was kind of like when everything, it wasn't going bad, but it wasn't like it was back then. Glasses got damn near like $600,000, dog. Like in total.
In 92, 93, when I found out that I was getting fucked out of publishing money and advances and all of that, they was collecting 275,000 from Epic. And I had no idea what the budgets was. Luckily, I found out a nigga was trying to rob me, and I found out. So I basically just went and said, I'm not gonna do any more records unless y'all kick this nigga out. Fuck this shit. I'm still struggling and shit, and a nigga living in fucking, the nigga living in like, and they always want to front on you too, right? They always want to go buy us a gang of cars and a gang of shit. And you sitting up going like, well, goddamn, where's my shit at? Yeah. Nigga, I'm on the road. I'm writing raps. I'm out here. Nigga, I had to sign 1,000 autographs yesterday at a motherfucking in-store. You feel me? But then when I get off the tour bus or the plane, I'm pulling back up in my motherfucking sister's driveway. Like, what the fuck is, like, something is wrong. And then every time we go sit down at a meeting, you pulling up in a new whip.
Oh, man.
You should, at the very least, man, thinking about it, Lynch, you should have probably been presented with another formal contract at that time with an advance and an album budget, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you were the biggest thing to come out of Sacramento at that time. You guys could have, just by doing proper business, said scene could have been still getting money today.
He sure could have. I was down. I told him, nigga, we could ride this out. Just pay a nigga.
That's
That's
it.
all he could have did. You know, give you an advance, man, and even if it's an advance, like, you know what, Link, here you go, he goes 75 for an advance, and your recording budget is this, and just keep doing good business so you can keep putting out albums. Because that's the thing, it's not a lick.
And at the time too, bro, you know, X had did that you know, that murder. So his album was semi getting banned, and that was the only artist Black Market had at the time. And his album was lightweight getting banned everywhere because of, you know, he murdered somebody's mom. You know what I mean?
I remember that.
So his album was lightweight banned, not getting put in stores and stuff. So I was the main artist. So he was going in on me trying to get paid.
And Season of the Sickness, I believe it was maybe 5 years ago. I know that it's achieved gold status right now, right? You got a gold plaque for that, right?
Yeah.
So that's gone gold, and you should probably go check up on 24 Deep, bro.
Yeah, I was
24
thinking
Deep
about
sold
that.
a lot of records, bro. 24 Deep sold a lot of records, and I don't know what you can do now. I would think right about now, you probably have possession of both of those masters right now, right?
Yeah, I own those.
Yeah, so if you own it, dog, it's like it don't even matter, man. But I would check on my certification for it just to, you know, you want your plaques and stuff, them your trophies.
Yeah, I thought about it. I go through BMG right now, so I'm gonna probably go to Fred and be, you know, have him check that out. Though I did think about that though.
And you a real visual dude, man. I love the way you write. Have you ever thought about getting into film or anything?
Come on in.
Huh?
With Funk Beta here, my producer and shit.
My bad.
Oh,
okay. Have you ever thought about getting into production, bro?
What
up,
up,
Funk Beta?
What's going on? What's that? Hey,
What's cracking?
what's bubbling, pimping?
Shit, everything
You know,
but
this
the
still the Gangster
champagne.
Chronicles, man. We just got Funk Beta on Bum Rush to interview.
It's
My
all
bad.
good.
It's all good, bro. It's all good, man. That's what Gangster Chronicles. You know, y'all getting it live and uncut.
Hell yeah.
But have you ever thought about doing anything movie-wise, bro?
bruh. Right now, I did a couple movies. Priority. I don't know if you know who Dave Weiner is. Eiht, you know who?
Oh, of course.
I know Dave.
He wrote a movie called Now Eiht, and I was the star of it, but it was real low budget. But I did some. If you see this movie AWOL 72, I was an extra in there, and I did a couple just extra type shit. But right now, I'm doing an iPhone movie. You know what I mean? I've been doing it for about like 9 months now, but I don't talk about it too much though. But I've always wanted to do it. Eiht, you a lot of the reason why I wanted to do it. Real talk.
Well,
shit,
Lynch, I'm
looking,
gonna tell
fam.
you right now.
Yeah.
Me and Eiht got some stuff going on, bro. We got some stuff going on with that, man. You know, that we go holler about down, you know, a little bit, you know, when it's a little bit more official, because right now it's in the early infancy stages of it, dog, and we getting everything together. But I thought I would love to do some horror stuff with you. You ain't never thought about getting into no, because that's who you are, bro. You hip hop Steven Spielberg.
This nigga still well fool.
You know, Lynch is hip hop Steven Spielberg because he gonna say some stuff, but it's not. Some of that stuff that came out back in the day and the horrorcore stuff was corny. Your stuff is like just real visual and just real visceral. You know what I mean? It's like it kind of just jump out at you.
I don't listen to horrorcore rappers. Like I never heard Gangsta Nip stuff. You know what I mean? I never heard Esham stuff. I don't really listen to hardcore rap. That's why it's a trip they put me there. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
I see you as a dude. You probably ride around all day listening to stuff like MF Doom and all the dudes that really spit on.
Man, I'll be listening to Crooked Eye. I'll be listening to man, I ain't been listening to rap really in like 10 years though.
You sound about like Eiht, dog, because Eiht
I
play
ain't
all up.
No
You
rap,
sound
bro.
like Eiht.
No
If
rap.
you go to
bro. I
Eight's
ain't been-
playlist, Eiht is gonna be playing everything pre-2007, probably. Everything is
I can't
2007.
get it. I mean, I said there's nothing wrong with new artists, but it don't follow my storyline of what I'm used to as far as music concerned. Uh, Music that calms this savage beast. You get me?
Yeah.
And I like what I like. And like I said, no disrespect to none of the new artists. Music
Real
has
talk.
transitioned. Music has transitioned into a whole new genre. You know, and I could only imagine what my mom and them thought when we started rapping. You get me? Even though it wasn't to the point of where they couldn't understand it, or it was whatever. Because I spoke very clearly in telling you, nigga,
Yes, sir.
what it
Yes,
was.
sir.
But they just didn't understand it because it was new to them. You get me? You got all these, and then what we represented as far as music is concerned. Like I say, because I was a young nigga at one time, like yourself, like you still. We was all 18, 19, and motherfucker, I fuck a nigga up or I do whatever, and when mom's probably told me some shit like, why you nigga doing that, nigga? I'm like, nigga, this my shit. You get me? And you can't tell me nothing. I wasn't finna go getting on 9 to 5, or once the bug hit, nigga, it's all about pushing this art form right here. But they couldn't understand it.
Real talk.
We got a lot of people. There were some people who probably felt like let them express, and then there were some motherfuckers who just didn't understand what we were doing. Now, I understand niggas wanting to express themselves today with their music, especially niggas who walked our walk. You feel me? Like the young
Yeah.
homies today who's walking our walk. You feel me? They got the same attitude. You can't tell me shit, nigga.
It's definitely some young spitters out there. It's definitely some young spitters.
And not to
Hey,
discredit them. And like I
I feel
said,
like it's coming back a little bit. I feel like
it
lyrics
is.
is coming back right now as we speak. Lyrics is coming back. Like,
Speaking of that, Lynch, what did you think about the whole? Every era when something new happened, they label it as the biggest thing happening. I don't know if a cat like Drake could even see you lyrically, dog.
bruh, I mean, everybody got their conspiracy theories. I don't believe in ghostwriters. You know what I mean? So if you was gonna ask me about that Kendrick Lamar and Drake battle, I know Kendrick writes his shit. I'm not
Oh, for
sure if
sure,
Drake
most
does.
definitely.
I'm not sure if Drake does. So I didn't really take that battle like everybody else did.
To be honest with you, dog, Eiht told me one day he didn't want to talk about it no more, and I was kind of low-key relieved. I was like, good, man, I don't want to talk about this shit no more either. Because it's, I don't even know why it's considered a battle if you got one cat that don't write his shit.
Real talk.
Now, I can understand you in the course of songwriting, getting some hooks here and there, whatever, like that. That's just collaborating at that point, then, because you might be doing something with Funk Beta, and he might have something that got a hook on it already.
Yeah, I believe in that if you're creating, bro. But I grew up a battle rapper. In the 80s, I was a battle rapper. You know what I mean? That's why, I pride myself on lyrics. And when somebody else writing for somebody, man, I don't get that part of the game. I mean, that maybe it's something new that I just never caught on to. The big artists, I heard Jay-Z and all these people got ghostwriters sometimes. You know what I mean?
Oh, you heard
I just
Hov
don't
had a
get that
ghostwriter?
part.
I don't know. I would be disappointed if I heard Hov had somebody else writing his raps.
I've heard it. I heard that.
That's something else, man.
A lot of rappers I heard.
You know what? Shit, who else you don't heard Lynch? You might be breaking some more news, man. Who else out there getting their shit ghost written, but out here taking credit?
Well, I'm gonna keep my mouth now. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut now.
We got that.
I want somebody to attack me, but I don't want to start. I want a rapper to attack me, but I don't want to start no shit.
I heard that, man. I don't think too many people go try to fuck with you, Lynch. I think you one of them dudes. We gonna leave his ass alone.
Bruh,
We gonna leave his
to
ass.
be
We
honest,
leaving Lynch by
bruh,
Lynch alone.
I should keep this out, but I'm gonna let this out, bro. When I was in LA, bro, I had a drinking problem. I went to the hospital 2 times. I had to stop drinking when I lived in LA. And bro, I got to the point where I couldn't even remember my kids' names or nothing. When they're in the hospital, they was asking me questions I couldn't even answer. So I had to, with this album, I had to learn how to rap again.
Wow.
Man.
Wow, man. I'm glad that you here and sober now, man. So you've been really going through some shit, Lynch. For you to even be able to put this album out is pretty amazing, man. Because alcoholism, people don't talk about it like they talk about the other, diseases and stuff like that. But alcoholism is a real debilitating disease, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Man.
I was bad, bro. I had a man, if you don't remember, bro, I had a beer the whole time. We was working on that album in the video.
Oh, yeah.
If you'd have paid
It's
it,
nothing.
man.
Yeah, it's nothing. That's something we don't. They don't really. I guess they don't really look at when people are in our positions. I don't know, because motherfuckers don't check for us or worried about mental or abuse or whatever like that. We supposed to be just niggas from the block, invincible to anything. You get me? But we men first, and then with being black men and with the vices and shit that we had to put on ourselves just to cope with this type of shit. And then that's a double when you got to watch your back from street shit. And then you got to be able to get into the studio and produce some shit, good enough that a motherfucker want to spend his $10 and shit. So it's the hustle. It's the hustle double. That causes us to smoke. You get me? And niggas don't look at smoking weed as being addicted and shit. But nigga, I need some weed. You get me? I don't give a fuck, nigga. Wherever
it's a lot, it's a lot, bro, because it's not a natural thing to grow up getting shot at or shooting at people or going through this or having a, it's a lot, man. You may have a parent like both of you guys have mentioned, Lynch, I heard you mention earlier that your mom struggled with addiction. You had said your father struggled with addiction. He was functioning, but he still struggled with addiction to the point to where it impacted your family. All that stuff is not natural, man. So you have to find an outlet, man, or something just to get through it, because it's not like we have parents, hey, I'm going to go get you therapy. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to reveal something to everybody too. I've been getting therapy for the last 2 years, and it's the best thing in my life, because your life becomes like your life almost comes under a microscope when you start doing anything in entertainment, right?
Yeah.
And everybody seems to have this ideal that you got money that you don't necessarily have. And you're getting it from it's a lot of pressure and it's a lot of stress. So I advise anybody, man, go get some therapy, go get somebody to talk to, bro, get it off your chest, because I think in our community, man, that's the thing. It's like, man, I'm gonna roll a blunt up and I'm gonna go get me a beer and I'm gonna sit down and just forget about the shit. The problem is still there, but you just numbing it out. You never addressing or dealing with nothing. Therapy definitely helps you deal with everything.
My thing is, as far as therapy, I didn't want to talk to no stranger about my shit. You know what I mean? That's how I used to think. I'm probably more open to that today, but back then, I wasn't trying to tell no stranger nothing. I don't know why I felt like that back then.
And I'm gonna tell you what probably honestly, what probably really helped cats like you and Eiht as well is the fact that y'all was rappers. You would be able to get stuff off your chest to a certain extent. You feel what I mean? To the world, definitely. And you would get to go out and just kind of vent and let it out, right? But I'm gonna tell you, man, I had that thing too, to where I was like, why am I gonna go talk to some dude that's in the he can't identify what the hell I got going on. But sometimes just having somebody there to listen to your ass that's not gonna judge you, and you tell them all this fucked up shit you got going through your mind, and you think about doing this, and you think about doing that, and they just sitting there looking at you like this and listening, and they not judging you, bro. It's a certain liberty to that.
Okay.
It's a certain freedom in that, man. I'm just saying, I'm really glad that you got that figured out, bro, and I don't know how you did it, man. You feel what I'm saying? I don't know how you did it, but you got
You
it
was a
done.
black, hold up. You was a black man who you felt like you was having situations to where you were being judged. So you felt like you had to go sit down and talk to somebody about who wouldn't judge you for having
Oh no,
having a thought
it was
of,
just
I really want to
yeah,
kill a
it was
nigga,
a little
or I
bit deeper
really
than
want
that,
to
bro.
whoop a nigga's ass, right?
Yeah, it was a
Because
little bit deeper
you
than that.
do you think you had to get therapy because you were in a situation and
Not
you couldn't
necessarily
handle
because of
the
that. I
situation?
think just after so many years, of having
Mm-hmm.
stuff just bottled up, it's like if you fill a Pepsi bottle with water, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
got a cap on that motherfucker. Eventually, if you keep putting water in it at high pressure, that motherfucker go blow up. I felt like I was at the point of I was about to blow up, dog. It would be like, and it's just not from current stuff. I'm talking about this is stuff from my childhood
Why
to
you had
just
it
now.
bubbled up? Why you
You
had it
Yeah.
bubbled in?
Because I think as black men, we always talk just to kind of take stuff on the chin and keep it moving, kind of do it with a smile. You
Oh
feel what
yeah,
I'm
I get
saying?
that.
Like, I'm not tripping, I'm just moving on, whatever, whatever.
I
Because
get
it's
that.
like, I notice with us as black men, we really don't deal with stress very well because everybody sitting on this phone right now, bro, got a certain amount of pressure that they deal with, whether it be financially, we got certain expectations that, come our way. And that's just being a man. We ain't no different than a dude that work in no factory all day, dog. And he got to figure out how to pay for this and figure that. We all got it. It's just not that, bro. You think about certain situations, right? You think about, you may say, man, you know what, man? I made this mistake when I was 18. This cost me right now. Or I did this. Just the pressure of life, man. Just the ills of life, man, is a motherfucker.
You know what's
And
weird
I'm going
about
to tell
me?
you, hey, I
You know
do
what's
think
weird
that.
about
Go ahead, Lynch.
you know what's weird about me is my stress is backwards. Like I can let the past go easy, but I worry a lot about the future.
Same with me, bro. Same here. I think that's all of us is I think coming from the surroundings and the environment we all come from, I think we already kind of born war ready to a certain extent to where, man, you can't do nothing too bad for me. I've never sat back and worried about really losing money because I've came up and where I come from, dude, it's a miracle I'm even here today. I think about some of the stuff I have right now, the things I have achieved, and I'm like, thank you, God, bro. This is unbelievable, me coming where I come from, right? But then the same token, I always wonder, man, like, you know what, man? We all went through those phases when we was younger where we spent absorbent amounts of money and we think like, damn, man, I wish I wouldn't have spent that money back then, man. I could have done this and
Oh,
had
definitely.
this right now to look forward to. So you do have that. And I think especially getting older because us as black men too, I'm gonna tell you the number one thing we go through, the number one thing that's running rampant through our communities right now is ageism. Because you will have a motherfucker that look older than you because he on pills and drinking every day, calling you OG and you old, and you could be 30 years old.
That's real talk.
If you were 29, 30 years old, you are considered OG. I was getting called OG when I was 30. How about y'all? Like, did y'all have kids, younger dudes calling y'all OG when y'all was 30?
That's just the younger generation, though. Today, I think the
Yeah.
younger generation. It used to be different for us. It used to be like shit. It used to be like at 21 for us back then. At 21, you still a pup. You were still a kid. Shit, at 25, you didn't know shit. Still, you get me?
Yeah.
It seems like this generation is flipped. Nigga, you an old nigga by the time you hit 30. That's how the young generation is today. The age limit is between 15 to motherfucking 25. After you turn 25, you start going downhill.
Yeah, you
But
old.
nobody in when I was fucking 25, 30, I wasn't getting called OG.
Me either.
Because the niggas that I grew up were still around. The generation now, they was babies, so they couldn't call me no OG. So we still had that But now, you get me? Now, if you 30 and a kid is 15 to 17, 18, 20, you are OG. Nigga, you 30.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's like the standard, because to me, when I was 25 or 30, I used to look at kind of like if a cat was 55 or 60, I should look at that as old, right? But I didn't look at them as just like, oh, they out the game now, they out the loop, right? Now it's like, man,
when we nigga, when we was about what? When we was 19, 20, old to us was a motherfucker with fucking gray hair and a walking cane and shit.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. We didn't, I don't know. We didn't look at a motherfucker like 35, 40, 45, 50 as, oh, that's an old motherfucker.
No, I didn't think about it like that. That's what I'm saying. This generation right now.
That was my mama. I didn't look at my mama. Because my mama was still going to hang out and go kick it with the homegirls. And they was old people to me was a motherfucker. You got to help across the street. And
yeah, them was my grandparents. I looked at my grandparents as old.
Yeah,
it's like now.
Yeah, but
it's
today,
like now.
Today, you are an OG. Oh, you definitely an OG. Nigga, you over 30. You definitely OG. And not to that's just the youngsters. Instead of going, that's when they try to pay you a little respect. You hear me? Because they'll just call you an old ass nigga. You feel me? But they give you that, OG, hey, OG. You know, that's what the youngsters do today. That's their generation thing.
And part of that too, because they growing up faster than we did. You know what I mean?
That may be
looking at a nigga like 30 as like an OG now. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
You got 5 and 6 year olds cell phones and shit. You get me? Back in our days, if that type of shit was available, you think your mama would have been buying you a cell phone at 5 or 6 years old, or letting you whatever? It never happened. You get me? But this generation is you damn right they growed up fast.
They grew up faster. And one thing I will give this generation props on, this is the generation to where entrepreneurship and just owning your own business and doing your own thing. Shout outs to all them young brothers out there that's getting to that money, man. It's some young cats out here making serious money in the rap game now. On the tech game and the podcast game and the streaming game, they getting to it because their thing is like this. I'm not going to go work at no job that I don't want to do. I think our generation, we would go do what we had to do. Our parents did what they had to do. This generation, I'm not doing that. This is what I'm doing, and I'm starting to
didn't have all those options. We didn't have near those options.
Well, you know what? This computer, this shit we talking on right now made it real gravy for the little homies. So shout out to them. You know, Lynch, I want to get into this new album because we done been on here for a while now, right? You said you was battling alcoholism, man. You was battling quitting. You put the bottle down, man, to go into this. You had to learn how to rap all over again. How long did it take you to record this album?
Oh, shit, like 9 months. I started July 4th of 2023, had it done by the end of November.
And who handled the production? Because you produce a lot of your own stuff too, right?
I produced the whole thing because one of my boys told me, he said, man, you should just produce the whole thing like you did the first one. Because I couldn't find producers that was giving me a lot of producers was giving me some stuff with samples of my old album, and I wasn't trying to, do all that type of stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? Remaking beats from the old album. I'm like, bruh, I want to be modern with this.
Do your own shit. Like,
so they coming to you with Low to the Brain Part 2.
Well, a lot of shit didn't happen. A lot of my homies that was on the original one gone.
Because you started off, because I remember the crew, Baby Riggs,
he gone.
Baby Riggs, Mr. Doctor,
he gone.
And we not gonna mention the other cat, but he got his situation, man. And that's a lot right there. That's trauma. Your crew that you started off rapping with ain't even here no more, literally. when you revisit the album?
Locked up, hiding. One's hiding, a couple of them locked up. One of them was my baby's mom. On that, I'm still in touch with her. The Zag bitch on the Low to the Brain song was my baby mama.
Oh, Zag was your, okay, so she was, because I heard rumors of that, people saying that's his woman, because she was busting.
Yeah, she learned how to rap by just rapping my raps. Just started writing her own shit after a while. So she finally got good enough for me to get on the song. That was actually her first song she got on.
Yeah, that's a big record for her. I bet her head got big than a motherfucker, didn't it?
Oh, she's still living off those dreams with her crazy head.
That's crazy, man. So you produced this whole thing. I'm gonna tell you, man, first of all, I'm not gonna lie, Lynch. I am such a fan of the original Season of the Sickness that I came into this really looking like with my spectacles on. I said, okay, now let me hear this, because the way I listen to music, because I'm kind of like y'all, I don't listen to a lot of music, but that's kind of like my job kind of now, to be up on what's going on. So it's some dudes that I listen to, but I listen to it like this. I listen to usually 30 seconds of a song, then on to the next one, verse to the hook. That's all I care about, right? This one, by the time I got to I've Changed, I was listening to it all the way through, because you got so much deep shit you saying in there. I've Changed is a real personal record, man. You address a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah.
You address a situation, and I like the way you do it, because you do it to where you not like telling, but you telling a story. You talked about a studio getting broken too, and you let somebody breathe.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And you let somebody breathe, then you addressed, like, you dealt with the death of your sister, man, and you handle your grief in a really unique way, man. It's almost like it's as scary as your music sound, it's almost comedic in the same tone, because you got a lot of satire in your stuff.
Yeah, I try to keep it cool, but that second verse was kind of hard to write, because like that happened a while ago. You know what I mean? And for me to bring that back, I had to get in this certain headspace for a second that I didn't really want to get in. But that was a hard time, bro. I was on tour, and she asked if her boyfriend could stay at the house. She was living in my house, and I told her, yeah. Went on tour. He killed her in my house, so I sold that house.
Wow.
So,
I'm sorry to hear that.
And that was a whole song at first. I went back and rewrote the first verse to change it up, because that was a full song at first. And I decided I didn't want to go to it deep about it, because I want to be able to listen to my album sometimes. You know what I mean?
You don't
So
want to
I
have
didn't
to
want to put that on there.
keep being reminded of the tragedy and shit, Who wants to have to keep reminding themselves of tragedy? So definitely.
Because that's what hip hop is. Hip hop is definitely the soundtrack to our experiences.
Definitely. As far as my thoughts and my albums,
we want to let people in a little bit to our lives, and to show people that we real motherfuckers, and that everything is just not imaginary shit that's just thought up about, like seen on TV or some make-believe shit. So we give you bits and pieces and shit, and we even gonna tell you the struggle shit sometime. It's how we deal with, not having to get out here and resort to the street shit like we used to, or had the first motherfucking mind to do. You get me? Because your mind state is first a result into doing some shit that you have been taught is by the code, so to speak. You get me? And when you consider yourself a real nigga, you always, feel that you got to deal with shit according to the code. So you can't give them a little bit. We try to let them in and let them experience some of the shit that we got to walk through. Because people be thinking,
for real,
niggas invincible, or it don't happen to celebrities, and not that you even want to consider. Because I hate even that word. I hate considering that shit. Because I'm like a regular nigga, just I'm just able to talk to you on the record. You feel me? And
I'm
tell
sorry
you.
to meet nigga. I'm sorry to meet you a celebrity.
Yeah. You know, but that's what you got to walk with that. So they tell us, you know, you can't let everybody know everything, especially when you in our positions and shit, because there's some crazy motherfuckers out there and they'll twist up shit and they'll try to take advantage of your heartache. You feel me? Or your tragedy. So you just give niggas a little. You give niggas just a little bit. You feel me?
That's real talk.
Because you never know, you know, it'll be a motherfucker 2 years from now, call themselves wanting to diss you, and then they taking your pain and your tragedy and trying to use it against you in a diss record and shit like that. So you can't let motherfuckers. You can't let that motherfucker do everything.
I'll tell you, Lynch,
the whole heartache, man.
Real talk.
You did the viral record. That's a crazy ass. That record right there was crazy too. I just trip on how you handled the production, road, because you ain't falling. If anything, I dare to say that you were a better rapper than you were back then. And you was dope. You was phenomenal to me back then.
It's funny you say that too, because like part of the decision to even do a part two, because you know everybody, even part twos of movies, you know, oh, it probably ain't gonna be as good. You know what I mean? You saying that was part of the reason why I chose to like do the part two, is because I listened to the lyrics on part one and I was like, come on now, I could rap better than that right now. You know what I mean? So that was bruh, it's a crazy you say that, man. That was like 50% of the reason why I decided to do a part two.
Yeah, you was on there busting, man. And I think it's at the point now. It's a good time for the OGs. You know, Killer Mike won the Grammy. He a brother that's, you know, approaching his 50s. If he ain't in his 50s yet, you know, he won a Grammy on this stuff, man. And there's a lot of older brothers out there doing their thing because you got an audience that's for it now. You got cats in, you know, 50 years of hip hop. You got cats in they 50, 55 riding around in their cars and they Teslas, bumping music, bumping MC Eiht and Brotha Lynch on their way to the office. You feel what I'm saying? So it's a time, man.
Bro,
you got to keep providing music for them.
I'm 56.
Man, you don't sound like no 50. You know, if you'd have told me back in the day that we was going to have dudes 52 and 53 and 56 rapping and they was going to be tight, I'd have been like, hell no. But brothers out here, you getting to it on there, man.
I look at it like this, bro. Music is music. Music ain't got no age to me.
Hell no.
But it's only our shit, though. It's only our shit, though. Why is that? Why is rap or hip hop giving us an age limit of you can do it or not? But it's only certain niggas, right? And that's the crazy shit, because they don't say that about every hip hop artist. You right? They only say that about a few. They don't say it about everybody. They say it about a few. So I just don't understand that, because when it comes to rock and roll, when it comes to R&B, when it comes to pop, when it comes to jazz, it don't matter. You could be 8 to 80 and you could put out a record. But as far as hip hop is concerned, like once you get over 35, you shouldn't rap anymore. It's like our shit is like the NFL or the NBA. You know, it's an age limit. Once you get 40, you can't play basketball anymore. Once you get 40, you can't play football anymore.
See, that's a real thing though. But as far as with rap, it shouldn't be like that.
But that's how they consider it. Not that it's not real with us. And of course, I don't want to make the comparisons of the physicality of the NBA or NFL, but it's like we already setting up your retirement plan at once you turn 35, you might as well start getting ready to retire, because you're looked at as like, damn, nigga, you 50 and you still rapping? Like, okay, what? That don't determine my finances or my situation. Like, niggas feel like if you still rapping at 50, you broken, you ain't made no money.
No, I just think it's like you said, you know, rapping is not a physical thing. You know, it's a mental exertion. It's not a physical exertion. You don't have to, you know, you don't have to go in the gym and get in shape to go record an album. Now you may have to start riding your bike to go on tour and go on the road, but you don't necessarily have to be in the best physical shape in the world, right? I think that through your life experiences, you naturally are going to become a more proficient rapper. Your vocabulary is broader. You have a different train of thought on things. You're not thinking, because I know when I was 23 years old, I'm a way different man. Night and day, I'm not even close to the man I was when I was 23. I was a little boy.
Yeah, and our like you said, the train of thought is way different from being 25 to being 50. You get me? Like
And
you
that's
said,
what this sounds like. It sounds like a more evolved. It sounds like a more evolved album. It's not as banged out. It's really not banged out at all. It's a lot of real clever. I know you probably ain't sat and listened to the whole thing yet, but this motherfucker's jamming. It's slapping.
Oh, definitely.
It's a little different. What I tried to do, because since I don't own the Loaded album no more, I tried to mix in style-wise a little bit of Loaded, so I could bring that back for my people who did, because a lot of people picked up on Loaded. Loaded was a weed album. You know what I mean? I wasn't thinking of keeping the Season of the Sickness thing going like a story. So the next album after Season of the Sickness was Loaded. It's a weed album. But you know, Black Market Records own that. And I wanted to kind of get a little bit of that back, because that was a phase of fans that, like, I still kind of got. So I kind of mixed that in with this album. So.
Yeah, Loaded was your big return album. I remember, like I said, I had a record store, and that's what we was talking about in retail. Lynch coming with an album. You know, that was supposed to be your big return. That was your big return.
Yeah, people thought it was gonna be like a Season of the Sickness Part 2, and then it ended up being the Smoking album. And at first they didn't really take to it. Then you know, later on they was like, "Oh man, that's a classic album." They seemed to be mad at first though.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was one of them dudes that was mad at first because it was cool, and at that time, I didn't smoke weed, right? I was like, "What the fuck is this shit right here, man?" I want to hear some more of that. Him talking about the babies and taking people's heads off and all that shit. You know what I mean? I wanted to hear some of that shit.
You wasn't the only one. You wasn't the only one, bro. Everybody expected that again.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know whether to call it a mistake or not. It's just I'm the type of artist, bro. Like I said, rap ain't got no age. As soon as I feel like making another album, I'm gonna do it. I don't care what age I am. That's what kind of rapper I am. So
people will be out there to support it, and people will be out there to support it and buy it, man. Lynch, you know what, man? We could talk to you all night, brother.
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
What's next? What's next on the agenda, bro?
Right now, I'm working on a little project to follow up this Season of the Sickness. Whole 20. You know, my hood's 24. That's why I dropped this album this year, 2024. So I'm gonna give them a little something else before this year's out, and then I'm gonna move on to next year and start the new album.
Yeah, man, because
it's been 11 years, so I ain't gonna let another 11 years go by.
Because you definitely got a lot of fans that want to hear you, and I know we got a lot of stuff in the works as far as for Eiht, man, and I would love to be able to, if it with Eiht's blessing, I would love to be able to pull you in on some of them sessions, because we got, you know, we talking about doing an album with Eiht and Hit Boy, and it's not talking about it. We in the scheduling and putting it together phase right now, because I know how Eiht works and I know how Hit Boy works.
Eiht, I hope Eiht know he got anything he needs from me.
Oh yeah, you already know. We official.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Lynch, man, shoot, man, I don't know how active you are on your social media, bro. Because like I said, when Soren hit me up, he said, man, do y'all want to interview Lynch? I said, bro, are flies attracted to shit? I said, man, I've been trying to get in touch with that dude for 5 years, man. I said, hell yeah.
Good looking, brother. Real talk.
Man, so I appreciate you, man. You definitely, man, one of the dopest artists, not just of our generation, but now, 20 years from now, whatever, man, you are one of one, man, and I salute you, brother.
I salute y'all, man. Thank you guys for having me, man.
All right, Lynch. Yes, indeed. We're going to connect.
And that's it, man. You know, that's it. We go close out, man, another episode, another volume of the Gangster Chronicles podcast, man. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave a rating, a comment, and all that, man, for my Apple Podcast users, man. Go on and leave us a like on this episode, man, and drop a comment. We out of here.
Yeah.